Brian in South Carolina. Thanks for patiently waiting. You're on with Shane and Matt.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey. Yeah, well, I just wanted to, I know we're out of time, but just Shane, I heard you earlier, like this is a sidetrack, but I just kind of wanted to mention, because you said you brought up the King James versus the New King James and how thou shalt not kill is a different word and it's murder.
Right.
But yeah, it's just kind of works in redundancy because it's the same word. It means murder. The Hebrew word is the same word that means murder. And there's another word they use in other instances, like in Leviticus, talking about animal sacrifice.
Well, the first translation that we have says kill. I mean, most of the translations that I've read say kill. The New King James Version is the only one that I can think of that says murder. I'm not asserting it's the only one that says that, but it's the only one that I know of that does.
But it's exactly, you're making the same point that I made, which is that how do we resolve which one is the correct understanding?
Because they disagree.
Uses, and we go back to the and we go back to the Hebrew word that is being translated and try to find out what the best understanding of that term is.
Yeah, I'm with you. And the same.
Yeah, that's why.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the answer. It's just the same word. And then there's animal sacrifice is still kill, but it's a different Hebrew word. So it means it's not the same as murder. So I'm just saying, I was just letting you know, it sounds like you don't do like just basic things, just basic stuff like that. At least Shane, I don't know about you, Matt, but.
You think after me describing the exact scenario in which we can go back to try to find the original Hebrew word to study it, you thought you needed to explain this to us because you don't think that we maybe do the basics on this?
No, to Shane. I was talking about what Shane said.
Okay, but
because if
Shane's making a point.
If Shane already knew that, then he wouldn't have even said that.
No, he would have said it. That you missed the entire point. The fact of the matter is, there are two different English translations of a term. One of them, kill, is the more popular one. It is the one that has been there the longest in English translation. And the other one is a newer, modern change that is probably based on the best scholarly research of intent. But yet we have this where people have been potentially confused for ages based on the translation that they have, and God didn't fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, good. That's a segue, man. No, I'm glad you said that. Because that kind of, I'm not even to my topic, but.
Well, we only got like a couple minutes, so we need to get to it quick.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, just the fact that you said God didn't show us. It's like you have I don't know what you think God's supposed to be, but even a basic Christian knows that God even created evil for the day of destruction. There's people who are not supposed to be believers, not all of us.
No, a basic Christian does.
A basic God who lives in a house, you just go knock on his door and say, "Hey, are you real?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm right here." You know.
Well, he should be, and a basic Christian doesn't know that. That's what a basic Christian believes. We don't get to claim knowledge of something.
No.
We have to demonstrate knowledge. We don't just get to say, "I know this to be true." No, that's what you believe to be true.
No, that's what. We're talking Bible, so that's what the Bible.
You want to talk Bible? I got one. I've studied one. I used to teach one. I used to preach one. We can go to the Bible, and the Bible says that wherever two or more you are gathered together in my name, whatever you ask, I shall do. Does it not?
Yeah, to his will.
So that, to his will.
You can't just pray for spaghetti and get spaghetti.
Why not? That's not what the verse says.
That's the teaching of the Bible. You can't. It sounds like you cherry pick.
No, it sounds like Christians cherry picked, and when they find out that a specific claim does not work out or that they don't have evidence for it, they go to something else. It's the Christians that cherry pick. It's the Christians that cherry pick, and that's why there's over 1,000 denominations that all identify as Christian that disagree on every single point.
If you're talking about Christianity and different denominations, you're probably talking about things like that aren't essential to the faith, but the core doctrine is still there.
Okay. Talk to you later. Thanks, everybody, for calling in. Thanks to the people who did not show up. Normally, there's a bunch of people on the other side of the wall, and then we have food and everything afterwards. But I want to specifically thank people for not showing up and following the good protocols that CDC are set in place to help us minimize the impact of this pandemic. We do not know what will happen next week. I heard that there was supposed to be some kind of briefing from the White House around the time we were starting this show. There's probably going to be additional changes. we here at the Atheist Community of Austin are, in fact, concerned about this and taking the best precautions that we can and still allowing us to produce content. But if it gets to a point where we can't produce content, we just won't. Right. But one of the things that people had suggested was, well, why don't we do something? Why don't we go out and help the homeless? And why don't we just like get a bunch of test kits? Trust me, if there was a way for me to get my hands on test kits to get them to the people in need, we would already done it.
Yeah.
States can't even do it, which is why New York is essentially asking the federal government to step in, because with multiple states competing for test kits, what does that happen? In a free market? All of a sudden the state that's willing to pay more is going to get it. So now the prices of the tests are inflating. The access hasn't gone up. What we're going to recommend, or what I will recommend, is this. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face with dirty hands. Try not to go out in public and interact with people. Continue to try to support the local businesses, including restaurants that may be able to deliver to you while you're at home, because those people are not only working for lower wages, but maybe tip dependent. And if nobody's coming to the restaurant, nobody's tipping, all of a sudden all of their salaries go down. They're already, in many cases, most of those people are living paycheck to paycheck. Some of them aren't necessarily going to have access to health care. Some of them are going to be elderly people or immunocompromised people who are at greater risk, and yet they are there trying to do those things. Give a special thank you to them, not only, by calling them, by sending them a letter or whatever else, but by noting, hey, you stock a grocery store, and while my grocery store is not particularly well stocked at all right now, I realize that that's the fault of all the people who ran in to buy everything, and I'm especially grateful to Shane for what he does and what other people are doing. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other within the bounds of what is safe to do so. Try not to panic. Stay alert but not anxious, as a friend of mine pointed me to in a video from a doctor. But don't undervalue this.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that, like, for all of my fellow skeptics out there, those conspiracy theories are starting. They already exist. Go find the conspiracies and debunk them. And if you don't want to debunk them, find me on Facebook, send me the conspiracy theories, and I'll debunk them myself. Because there is a lot of bullshit out there, and it doesn't end with religion.
It starts with the president, who's been lying to the nation for a month or so about how this is going to miraculously go away, or we've got it all under control, or the number of cases is going down. All of those things that he has claimed are demonstrably false. However, I will also caution people, do not lay the blame for corona in the United States at the foot of the president.
Yeah,
the misinformation is his fault. But the fact is, we don't have a healthcare system that was necessarily ready for this, and we did not begin quickly enough because we have a tendency, all of us, to say, it won't happen to me. It's not that big of a deal. I have a friend who was unimpressed with the virus because it doesn't have that much in the way of strong symptoms, and the death rate's still kind of low compared to some other virus. The fact that you can find another virus that is deadlier doesn't in any way change the impact of this. And it's having an impact.
The relative privation fallacy at its finest.
It's having an impact beyond individuals' health. It is having an impact on markets and jobs and money and the healthcare system. And the healthcare system, the people who are working in the healthcare system, who are supposed to be there to treat us and test us, can't do either if they are the ones at the greatest risk, and they are the ones who are coming down with it most frequently.
And touching on your last point, there was something that I read on Facebook. It was Trump isn't responsible for COVID-19. Obama wasn't responsible for Ebola. Bush wasn't responsible for SARS. And Clinton was only responsible for a few cases of herpes.
Well played. We'll see you next time. Take care of each other. There's the guys that make the show happen. We'll see you next time.
What are we doing, man? What are we doing?
No, you're done.